A chemist possessing the ability to create any magical beverage imaginable faces the moral dilemma of whether to employ this skill for the betterment of others or succumb to greed and potentially abuse his vast knowledge. Let's find out, as today, on Lord of Anime Recaps, we will be covering the first 4 episodes of the series, Drugstore in Another World. The story revolves around a pharmacist, Kirio Reiji, who creates medications and handles issues in the town of Kalta. He lives with a werewolf named Noera and a ghost named Mina who works as Reiji's store assistant and housekeeper. Reiji runs Kirio Drugstore. In the following scene, Mr. Alf, the proprietor of a general store, enters Kirio Drugstore and samples Reiji's freshly concocted energy elixir, designed to alleviate fatigue and enhance alertness. Impressed by both the delightful taste and swift effectiveness of the potion, Mr. Alf approaches Reiji with a request to allow him to retail the energy potions in his general shop. Facing financial struggles and expecting their 5th child, Mr. Alf earnestly implores Reiji for assistance, indicating that he might have to shutter his store without help. Despite initial hesitation, Reiji eventually consents to aid Mr. Alf, supplying him with 25 bottles of the potion at a very reasonable price. After Mr. Alf departs, Mina appreciates Reiji for helping Mr. Alf and assures him that his energy potions will do well in the market. Noera also praises the potion, mentioning that she can't stop drinking them as they are so tasty. Reiji is astounded to receive this much praise for the potion. After a few days, Kalto is filled with the news of Reiji's potions. Numerous people visit Mr. Alf's general store every day to purchase the energy potions, which helps his business flourish. He and his wife are overjoyed to welcome so many new customers to their store. Even more people begin to visit Reiji's pharmacy and wait in line for hours to purchase the potion. One day, a mother-daughter pair visits Reiji's shop to purchase the potion. However, the little girl insists on heading home due to exhaustion. Reiji apologizes for the extended wait in the queue, but the girl continues to sob. Meanwhile, Noella amuses the girl by tickling her with her tail, eliciting laughter. While the daughter engages with Noella, Reiji takes the mother's order and provides her with the potions. Despite Noella feeling a bit uneasy with the girl holding her tail, she remains patient and continues to play with her. After completing their purchase, the mother and daughter leave the store, and Reiji expresses gratitude to Noella for her assistance. They then turn their attention to the remaining customers. Later that evening, Mina asks Reiji to go shopping and get groceries for her. Reiji agrees, and he takes Noella with him. However, before heading to the market, the two explore a nearby forest in search of medicinal herbs. Noella is busy gathering the herbs. Reiji looks at her and recalls how he had found her as a wounded wolf and saved her life. After a while, Reiji remembers about the grocery. As he looks at the list, he realizes Mina gave him a wrong note. Just then, Reiji and Noella see a boy named Zeral being chased by his angry girlfriend, Ferris, who has a knife. Sensing the danger, Reiji tries to escape the place with Noella, but Zeral grabs his jacket and asks for help. Ferris also arrives, and she threatens Zeral to face her. Surprisingly, after a while, she calms down as she plays with Noella. Taking the opportunity, Zeral starts explaining his predicament to Reiji. He claims that Ferris is excessively possessive about him, and that's why she has trouble falling asleep at night. When she notices a girl near him, she immediately becomes enraged. Even if he bumps into a girl in the street, she comes after him. Despite this, Zeral says he still loves Ferris, since she is typically sweet and cute. He believes Ferris is under the influence of some evil and asks Reiji to assist her in casting out the evil. Zeral begs a lot, so Reiji reluctantly agrees. As Ferris plays with Noella, Reiji and Zeral observe her from a distance while hiding behind a tree. After a while, Reiji sets out for his pharmacy with Noella and invites Zeral to pick up the medication there. As soon as the duo returns to the pharmacy, Reiji starts making the medication for Ferris using Landen flower. It turns out that the flower calms the patient's nerves and relaxes them, reducing their nervousness and irritability. Since Ferris has trouble falling asleep at night and needs to be emotionally calm, Reiji creates Landen flower tea for her. Later that evening, Zeral arrives at the pharmacy and takes the medicine with him. Zeral returns the following morning to thank Reiji for assisting Ferris in returning to normal. Surprisingly, Ferris seems peaceful and rested when she enters the pharmacy after drinking the Landen flower tea. Zeral, the son of well-known local landowners, the Alonso family, is pleased with Reiji and offers him a sizable sum of money as payment before leaving the pharmacy with Ferris. In the following scene, Reiji and Noella explore the forest for medicinal herbs, and they come across the Utsubo flower, a pungent flower that only animals can smell. Since Reiji is human, he can't smell it, but Noella can, and the smell is so powerful that it even irritates her eyes. Immediately, Reiji makes a botanical deodorant and sprays it on the flower. This relaxes Noella as the pungent smell finally goes away. Back at the pharmacy, Mina proposes that Reiji sell the deodorant, and when they do, It quickly becomes popular among customers as a bathroom deodorant. After his energy potion, it becomes the second most popular product. The following day, Reiji and Noera go to pick up their food order from Rabbit Tavern restaurant so that Mina can take a break from her usual exhausting domestic chores. On reaching, they come across Moz and Captain Annabelle of the Red Cap Brigade, mercenaries the Lord recruited to guard the town. Moz and Doz fall to their knees and plead with Reiji to send 5 energy potions to their barracks daily at a discounted rate. They want it for half the price because they are so dependent on the energy potions, but are also having severe financial difficulties. Unexpectedly, Reiji offers to give it to them for free in exchange for their help in spreading the word about his innovative detergent in the community. He believes that the promotions by the brigades will increase its popularity and help pay for the cost of the free potions through detergent sales. When Captain Annabelle and Raina, the daughter of the restaurant owner, use the detergent, they discover that it functions miraculously. As a result, the Red Cap Brigade agrees to market the detergent. The next morning, just as Noera is about to leave for the delivery, Annabelle shows up at the door to obtain the potions by herself because she is so desperate to drink them. As she leaves the drugstore, she promises to return each morning for the potions. In the following scene, Reiji and Noera go in search of herbs and discover that there aren't many left. Suddenly, Reiji comes up with an idea after observing the plant seeds scattering on the ground. After a while, Reiji and Noera meet Zeral and ask for a lease of Zeral's field to grow herbs. Since Zeral is grateful to Reiji for helping Ferris, he permits Reiji to utilize his family's fields without charging a penny. Despite the fertile soil at Alonso's family fields, Zeral says the crops have been damaged due to dogs, wolves, and other animals. Even with the fences, the animals get inside and ruin the crops. In order to solve the problem, Reiji has an idea to use Utsubo flowers to use against the animals. He returns to his drugstore and prepares an animal repellent spray that produces an offensive smell to animals and keeps them away from the fields. A few days later, Reiji successfully deters the animals by using the repellent in the fence. Now he can grow his herbs without any damage. Eventually, the repellent spray becomes incredibly famous among the farmers and Reiji's sales increase. However, he's disappointed that Noera refuses to come near him because of the smell from the spray. One morning, Annabelle arrives at the drugstore as usual to get the potions, but she asks for 10 potions and pays for the extra 5. Meanwhile, Doz and Moz arrive and ask for Reiji's help. Annabelle explains that some bandits have come to Calta and people have been injured fighting the bandits to protect the town. Hence, she gives her potions to the injured for their fast recovery. Determined to help the brigades, Reiji starts working on his new product. He creates caption fluid, which severely burns the eyes, by combining caption peppers and the highest proof liquor. After a few days, the brigades use the fluid on the bandits, causing them to flee from Calta. In the next scene, Rain, a butler serving Lord Castifen Dran Valgas, the ruler of Calta, arrives at Kirio Drugstore searching for Reiji. He has been instructed to invite Reiji to the manor by Lady Flam, the wife of head of Valgas family. Later, Reiji visits the mansion with Rain and meets Lady Flam. Insecure of her looks, Lady Flam requests Reiji to make her a rejuvenating ointment within 5 days. The lady is discouraged because she is concerned about the rumors the lords will spread about how old she appears behind her back. Hearing this, Reiji agrees to create a medicine for her that combats the signs of aging. After 4 days of continuous effort, Reiji creates an ointment using fruits and flowers for the lady that prevents moisture from escaping and makes the skin supple. As promised, Reiji delivers the medicine on the 5th day. Since the ointment works magically, the Queen sends Reiji a thank you note and some royal cookies. The following day, Elaine, Lady Flam's daughter, shows up at Reiji's pharmacy and requests that he create a love potion to make Lord Lards fall in love with her. However, as a love potion only lasts as long as one takes it, and its effect quickly wears off, Reiji offers Elaine to create something else to make her more appealing. With Elaine's approval, Reiji creates Charm Fragrance, a perfume with refreshing fruit smell, for her. Reiji advises Elaine that wearing the right quantity of perfume will raise her status as a lady, but she will also need to work on her demeanor, expression, and attitude. Elaine is happy with the result, and she bids Reiji adieu and departs. After a few days, Elaine returns to Reiji's place again. Because she has come to the conclusion that a man who is frank with her would be her better match, she has decided not to use the perfume to attract Lord Lard. Besides, she favors intelligent men. With her parents' permission, Elaine has come to stay at Reiji's drugstore and learn from him. She also admits to liking Reiji, but also understands that since Reiji is a commoner and she is a noble woman, their statuses are different and they can't be an ideal fit. For the next 2 days, Elaine works at the pharmacy and learns from Reiji. Additionally, she and Noera grow close and become good friends. Before leaving for her mansion, Elaine gifts a perfume she made with Reiji's assistance to Noera, and in return, Noera gives her a substitute for her fluffy tail. Several days later, the weather starts to get too hot as the temperature continues to rise. While Reiji, Mina, Noera are exhausted from the heat, Elaine returns to the store and informs Reiji that her father has asked him to create a medicine that brings winter. In order to beat the heat, Reiji uses his sweetheart cooling gel. As the gel evaporates from the skin, it removes heat and makes people cold. It works when Reiji tries it first. The girls also try it, but soon pass out due to excessive usage of the cream. In the next scene, as Reiji and Noera are gathering herbs in the forest, Noera is attacked by a squirrel. The squirrel falls unconscious right away, so Reiji gives him anti-poison medication and leaves him there to rest. After a while, when Reiji and Noera head towards home, the squirrel wakes up and watches them go. The following morning, the squirrel shows up at the drugstore with rokushu nuts as gifts to Reiji for saving its life. Since then, the squirrel brings the nuts every day at Reiji's doorsteps. Later, Reiji and Noera go to market to get groceries and pick up their lunch from Rabbit Tavern restaurant. When they arrive at the tavern, they find Fernando, the proprietor of the recently opened nearby restaurant, which serves delectable meat dishes. Fernando wants to buy the tavern, however. The owner of the Rabbit Tavern and his daughter Reina become enraged and refuse the offer. It turns out that Fernando is trying to buy out all his competitors so that he can rule the culinary world. After Fernando leaves the restaurant, Reina expresses her sadness and worries about her restaurant. When Noera gives some rokushu nuts to cheer Reina up, the owner recognizes the nuts and informs Reiji that it's a tough ingredient to find and cook with because it's of excellent quality. It is said that a great royal chef once succeeded in making a sauce out of it. Unfortunately, he passed away from eating too much sauce because it was so delicious. Hearing this, Reiji takes charge to save the restaurant and decides to make their own rokushu sauce. Since Noera has already eaten all the nuts, they go to the forest to find the squirrel, but fail. Surprisingly, when Reiji and Noera eventually get home, the squirrel knocks on the door with loads of rokushu nuts. Reiji expresses his gratitude to the squirrel and immediately starts his experiment to prepare the rokushu sauce, which has an acidic, refreshing flavor and an exquisite, refined aroma. In no time, the Rabbit Tavern begins to serve the rokushu sauce with Reiji's assistance. Surprisingly, their business thrives as large throngs of customers attend and wait in line for the sauce. Fernando is drawn to the restaurant by the sauce's potent aroma, and he also waits in line to taste it. He gets his turn after an hour and has a meal with the utterly excellent sauce. He is spellbound by the divine flavor. Every mouthful distributes a potent perfume that is enticing and makes people desire more and more of it. Additionally, a plate only costs 500 rin. Fernando becomes irate over this and walks away after paying. He asks Reiji if he created the sauce and promises to pay 500,000 rin for each serving. Although Fernando raises the price repeatedly, Reiji still declines the offer. Reiji claims that not everyone is driven by greed and departs the scene with Noera. One fine day, Ferris arrives at Reiji's pharmacy with a request to make an aphrodisiac for Zeral so that she can have Zeral's baby. Since Ferris believes that Zeral doesn't show much interest in her and spends too much time outside, she wants Reiji to make a medicine that brings Zeral close to her. On Ferris's request, Reiji makes a drink named Emotional Drive, a medicine that strengthens emotions. Unknowingly drinking it, Mina experiences an emotional outburst toward Reiji. She begins to feel drawn to him physically. As Reiji tries to stop Mina, Annabelle arrives at the pharmacy, and Noera also offers the drink to Annabelle. Consequently, Annabelle develops feelings for Reiji. Both girls are completely out of control with their feelings for Reiji. When Reiji asks Noera to pass him the antidote, she drops the bottles and they shatter. The next morning, Mina is guilty about her actions from the previous night, but thankfully nothing wrong happened as Reiji was able to give the antidote to her and Annabelle and stop them. Meanwhile, Zeral arrives at the store and Reiji gives him the Emotional Drive drink. As soon as he drinks it, he is filled with love and emotions. A few days later, as Reiji exits the Rabbit Tavern, he observes Zeral and Ferris walking together, obviously mad in love. Reiji smiles, glad to see his customers satisfied.